How many of you saw this video?
Poor girls turn me on. The poorer the girl, the more attracted I am to her.
A lot of you be wondering why a guy like this would have said something like that. Today he's here to clear the air because he was forced to say that very statement. It never truly came from him. This is his story.
It's against my character to say such a thing because poor girls don't turn me on. No. Nedu told me that he owns Honest Bunch podcast. So he said I'll have to pay a certain amount, 5 million naira. That if I really want to present this topic today, that he's giving me the option of I have to say what he tells me to say. He now said I have to mention the celebrity's name to make the thing go viral. He specifically mentioned Very Dark Man. He said I should mention Very Dark Man. So since the owner is telling me this, I went on the podcast and said the things Nedu asked me to say. I was so depressed, so I decided to end my life. In my lifetime, I've met manipulators, I've met narcissists, I've met gaslighters, and I've met scammers, but Nedu is a discovery. Hi, my name is Ugo Wokolo, Mr. Nigeria Supranational. I'm sure a lot of you saw the video that went viral a couple of weeks back. I was actually manipulated and forced to say that. This is my story.
Oh my goodness, bro, I can't believe you made that statement. Poor girls turn you on. Why would you even say something like that?
Yeah. I made a statement, but I was actually forced and manipulated to make that statement.
Can you tell us about everything?
It's actually a long story, but I'll try to cut it short. You see, I won Mr. Nigeria Supranational 2024, October, and I needed Nigerians to know about my journey because I was going to represent my dear country in Poland. So I needed Nigerians to know about my journey and everything. So I reached out to Honest Bunch podcast through Nedu. So Nedu is someone I look up to as a mentor in the industry because he has been here for a long time, and he's someone I look up to, someone I admire his craft and everything. So I reached out to Nedu and was like, oh, I want to appear on the Honest Bunch podcast to discuss a topic that I think is actually valuable to Nigerians. So what Nedu responded to me is that, okay, first of all, he said, I'll have to pay a certain amount for me to appear on this podcast. I was like, okay, how much? He said 5 million naira. Nedu told me that he owns Honest Bunch podcast and he has to settle his staff from that amount. I said, okay, no problem. I had to do it. So I sent Nedu 5 million naira. And so after I sent him the money, he was like, okay, what's your topic? And I went ahead and told him that, okay, my topic is eradicating classism and advocating, fostering an egalitarian society. So I'm going to quote Nedu verbatim. What he said to me is that, Mr. Nigeria, this thing where you talk like big grammar, Nigerians are dumb. They don't like people that sound intelligent. You are not Peter Obi. For your message to fly, you have to sound dumb. You don't have to bring all those big grammar because it's not going to fly. That's what Nedu told me. I was like, okay.
And you are new to media.
Yeah, I'm new to media. So
yeah,
and he's someone I respect so much.
So of course.
So I felt that every counsel and advice from him is gold, and so I need to take it.
Yeah, you need to.
So I just said, okay, since Nedu can say this to me, because I didn't think he had any ulterior motive, or any surreptitious move or anything. So I took it hook, line, and sinker because I'm someone that is very credulous. I tend to believe people a lot because of my good heart. Because I believe that people should not do bad to me because I cannot nurse anything evil to someone. So Nedu now said to me that I have to sound dumb to appeal to Nigerians. A day before the podcast, Nedu told me that there's a development. Someone else is coming to make the conversation interesting. I was like, but that's not our agreement now.
I mean, this is something you paid for,
exactly,
right? For yourself.
I paid to promote myself. So why are you bringing someone else? Nedu now said, oh, there's no problem now. He's going to make it interesting. Don't worry. And I said, no. 5 million is not something that people pluck from tree now. Exactly. It's my hard-earned money. So why are you reneging on our agreement? So after a lot of back and forth, Nedu now finally agreed to refund me 2 million from the 5 million so that I can appear with someone else on the program. So he said he's going to refund me the money after I make the appearance. So the D-Day came, the day of the podcast. I said to Nedu, I would like to see you for briefing. Let me know what I'm going to say and everything. Because I already had what I was going to say, but I just needed to know, I just needed to get some briefing. So
it's your first time?
Yeah, it's my first time actually. So Nedu now met me and said, yeah, it's a good thing because he was actually talking to his co-host and they've dissected the topic and they think it's not something that's going to go viral. That if I really want to present this topic today, that he's giving me the option of, I have to say what he tells me to say. I was like, no, now I have my topic already. Why would you tell me what to say? He said no, that this is the way it works, that he has to tell me what to say. This is his program, and he calls the shot. I was speechless. I was dumbfounded. I was like, bro, this is not what to discuss. He now said, number one, he's going to tell me what to say, and I have to mention a celebrity's name to make the thing go viral. He specifically mentioned Very Dark Man. He said I should mention Very Dark Man name. I was like, Very Dark Man doesn't have anything to do with my topic, because my topic is about rich men getting married to broke girls, or girls who they are in a better financial position than. But he now said I should say something like, poor girls turn me on. The poorer the girl, the more attracted I am to her. And I said, no, I'm not going to say that. That is not my topic. If you're insisting I have to say this, then I think I have to back off. I'll just take my money and leave. He now said that he's sorry that he can't refund, because the money has been distributed to his workers. That the only thing that he can do is I should go back and come back on a later date when I'm interested or when I'm ready. I said, but I'm ready now. You're giving me a new topic and everything. He now said that's how he's done, that I have to accept this or go back and come back. So I have to think about the money I've spent, and coming back is going to cost me more money. So.
And you had to fly from Abuja to Lagos?
I had to fly from Abuja to Lagos for the interview, yeah. So I just said, okay, since we're here already, let's just do it. Since Nedu is the owner, because he told me he's the owner of the Honest Bunch podcast. So since the owner is telling me this, I'm a newbie in the industry. So I foolishly agreed to that. And that is what put me in the mess that I am today. So I went on the podcast and said the things Nedu asked me, manipulated me to say. But I'll still say this. I take responsibility. I'm not trying to blame anybody. I'm just trying to tell Nigerians what actually happened and what prompted me to make that statement. The thing is, it's against my character to say such a thing, because poor girls don't turn me on. No. Nedu forced and manipulated me to say that. I deserve all the insult I've gotten so far, because I was the one that said it, but I just need Nigerians to know what's actually transpired. So I've been seeing a lot of repulsive, egregious comments saying, oh, some people said I manipulate women, that is why I'm looking for a poor girl to control and all of that. I'm a ritualist, I'm looking for a poor girl to use. A lot of comments that is against my character, against my person. That is not who I am. I'm so sorry.
So how
I was just a victim of manipulation. So this is not who I am. Poor girls don't turn me on.
I have to be honest with you guys, right? Like, honestly speaking, if there is one set of people whom I really, really dislike, are those people who would not like to own up to their own mistakes. Are those people who will think that their actions were influenced by other people. Are those people who will say that this thing happened to me because of this person. Listen, I have always said on this platform, and I will keep on saying every day, every time. When you go out there and said something or did something, you are responsible for that thing. You are the one responsible for that thing. You cannot come back and say, I was told by the person into doing this, or I was influenced by this person into doing that. To me, that doesn't make a difference. That doesn't change anything to me. He is a full grown-up person. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was getting himself into. He wasn't a child. He wasn't a toddler. He was a matured person. I don't know about a family background, but he was a fully developed person. He got into what he wanted to get into. He wanted to chase clout. He wanted to use Nedu's platform to build his own image. But unfortunately for him, it backfired. Because when he was saying whatever he was saying in the Glitch studio, he wasn't under any influence. He wasn't drunk. Nedu was not holding a gun to his head. No, he had to make this decision all by himself. He could have just said, this is beneath my character This is totally out of what I can do. I cannot do this because I have values that I respect, and so I would decline from this interview or from this podcast or whatever. He could have said all that, right? But what did he do? He went along with the thing, thinking it was going to make him popular. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. He was greedy, okay? He was greedy. And greed backfired on him. Now, he should just accept it, that it was entirely his own fault. He was responsible for this. And anyhow it turned out to be, it was all on him. Let's stop all this gaslighting. I know Nedu is not a saint. I know Nedu had his own things he has done, which has led him to where he is now. Nedu is suffering the consequences of his own actions, which he deserves it 100%. But every single one of us must learn to be responsible for our own actions and decisions. I am on social media today. I am creating content on social media. I am responsible for whatever I say or do on social media. A day would not come when I will go blame other people for what I said or what I did. A day will not come when I will sit and say, I did this because of this person, or I did that because of that person, and it was out of my character, or it was out of my own conviction. I will never say that. And even if I did or do, that won't suffice. That is the honest truth. So it's such a shame to see him here saying, Nedu did this, Nedu ruined my career, this and that and this. Nedu is in the toilet, we all know. He is a horrible person, we all know. But we cannot just push all the blame on him. We cannot just say that everything that goes on in Nigeria is Nedu's fault. When is it going to end? When are we going to stop blaming Nedu for every single thing in Nigeria? When? Are we going to start blaming him for blackout? Are we going to start blaming him for insecurity? No. No. The system is broken. Nedu saw a demand for controversies, and like any good business person, he mainly supplied. Now, I am not saying it was the right thing for him to have done. That's not what I'm saying. I'm mainly laying out the facts to you. And one more thing to Lucky Yodo. You are not out there talking to people who are adding nails to Nedu's coffin. Be very careful. Be very careful, because people will talk about you too. You know, there's one thing with humans I don't understand, right? When you go out saying things, it's going to cause others to say things. It's like actions begot reactions. When you say something, people will respond. Last time you were crying how your brand got hit, how your brand suffered because one person said something about your brand that was very, very destructive, and it really, really hurt your brand. You were saying all that, and how you were depressed, you were this, you were that. And I was like, there was a reason why the person said what he said. Now, what he said might not have been appropriate. The person who said it shouldn't have said what he said. But he who said that was only reacting to what you have been doing on social media. It was a reaction to your activities on social media. So you cannot come now and start complaining. You cannot come now and start playing the victim card. When you've been on social media interviewing people, they're telling you their stories, their negative things they've gone through in life, and you've documented all those things. And now people use your brand to cash cruise, to make jokes. And then, unfortunately for you, your brand got hit by what they said. And you are like, that was a very bad thing for them to say. They really negatively affected me and stuff like that. Well, that's true. What they did was wrong. But remember, you are on social media. And when you are on social media, you have to develop some thick skin. I have said this like many times before. Our platforms are very small, really small, relatively nothing when compared to other platforms on Facebook or YouTube. But I still get my own fair share of negative comments. I still get my own fair share of public shaming from viewers of the channels. They say tell me how I know nothing. Some of them told me to go back to school and get educated. I understood it from the very beginning. I knew it that when I am on social media saying things, it's going to trigger people to push back or kick back or slam back or fight back. And their reactions might not be pretty, but I will have to swallow it and get on with life because I was on social media. I was talking about things that they thought I was wrong or I wasn't qualified to talk about. They had their own opinions, I had my own opinions, and our opinions collided with each other. And that was it. So, Mr. Man saying that you almost committed suicide and all this and all that. Remember, you and only you are responsible for the things you say and did. And you and only you will be held accountable for all the things you say and did. Nobody else. Nobody else. You cannot push this on Nedu. You cannot push this on Nedu. You cannot. You were greedy. You wanted views. You wanted exposure. And even if a wrong idea was brought to you, you would have just discarded it, but you did not. That shows how dishonest you were when you did the interview.